Hello. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Cozy here to do my best of 2014 for video games. So just sit back and enjoy. I'm going to be playing some of this game called This War of Mine right now. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so if I don't sound my usual self, just bear with me. So we're going to start here with my top 10 games, and then we're going to go to some notable ones that I just couldn't fit in that top 10, but I still enjoyed. And then we're going to go to the games I'm looking forward to the most in 2015. And then also, lastly, the worst games of 2014. Okay, so the first game on the list I'm going to be naming in the top 10 is Divinity Original Sin. Now, for the top 3 games, I have them tied. I could not pick a number 1 game this year. The first 3 are all RPGs too. They each offer different aspects, so I'm just going to go ahead and name all 3, and then I'll kind of explain why they made the list and whatnot. So let's go. Divinity Original Sin. This game was a Kickstarter game made by Larian. They also made Divine Divinity and Divinity 2 and Beyond Divinity. Divine Divinity is one of my favorite RPGs years ago. They stepped up, did a Kickstarter, absolutely just killed it. The combat is some of the best, I think, in ages for an RPG. It's turn-based, but you can set stuff on fire. You can electrocute stuff with different aspects of your mages. It's a very challenging game. It does not hold your hand even a little bit. It's very old school in that regard. And overall, it's just a great game. Besides the combat, they give you a lot of freedom. They don't hold your hand. It's a very challenging game. I love the graphics. I like the art design. There's a lot to love in that game. And lastly, it's got co-op. The whole campaign can be played in co-op with a friend, which is just fantastic. Now, the things that I thought could be better, the story, the dialogue, I thought could be a little bit better. But everything else shines so brightly that those aspects are... you know, you can, I can do without them, you know what I'm saying? And those aspects are actually aspects that the next 2 games that are tied for my favorite games of this year actually have. So next up is Wasteland 2. Yet again, it is another RPG that was funded on Kickstarter. Brian Fargo made this one. He made the original Wasteland. And also, Obsidian, my favorite RPG developers, helped out, Chris Avalon, specifically, helped out with the writing of this, for the character banter, and the character writing, dialogue, that type of goodness. So, it's a wonderful game. I feel it has much better writing, much better characters, much better story than Divinity had. Combat not quite as good, graphics not quite as good, but as I said at the start, all 3 of these RPGs that I'm about to name that are my 3 favorite games of the year all have things that they do better than the other, and some things not quite as well. Overall, all 3 RPGs are great. So Wasteland 2, fantastic game. It's another isometric game. It's if you never played the first Wasteland game, this is it's pretty much a series that's like the Fallout series. So if you ever played Fallout 1 and 2, it's similar to those ones, although you have a group. It is turn-based combat as well. There's lots of different decisions you have to make, ways you can go about doing the missions. It is extremely well crafted. A lot of hours also in those first 2 games I mentioned, Divinity Original Sin and Wasteland 2. I think I spent over 150 hours on both of those when I beat them. Next up, the 3rd game tied for my number 1 seed, 1 through 3, is Dragon Age Inquisition. Now this game really surprised me. The other 2 I thought would be good. Dragon Age Inquisition, I was not sure how that would turn out, just because I was not a huge fan of how BioWare did Dragon Age 2. It paled in comparison to Dragon Age Origins. This one here, though, I think it's a great mix of Dragon Age Origins and BioWare doing their first really open sandbox style game, and I think it suited them fantastic, this game. If you liked Origins, there's lots of little connections to the first Dragon Age game. And it seems like they took into consideration all the complaints people had about Dragon Age 2 and how there just was not many areas to explore. You'd go do one mission, it would be in a cave, mountainside, and you go do the next mission there too. It'd just be different people there. Recycled environments, just extremely lazy, and this game is a wonderful surprise. It's jam-packed with content. The worlds are just gorgeous. The combat's fun. The graphics are absolutely amazing. Some of the best I've ever seen for an RPG. The characters are good, stories good, dialogue's good, like I said. There's some tie-ins from Origins. I also love how you get to play kind of the Game of Thrones kind of judge. People come that you have captured, and you get to say if you want them to die or you want them to be in a jail or what have you. It's wonderful. Getting your keep better, interacting with your characters is done so very well. BioWare really did a good job with the characters in this game. And it's a long game. I mean, you can spend hours just doing the side missions. It's a wonderful game and a great surprise for me. So that's the top 3. I have those all tied. I cannot pick between them. Divinity Original Sin, Wasteland 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. Next up, Forza Horizon 2. This is really the first great console game for either the PS4 or the Xbox One, in my opinion. This is the first great... I mean, if you sit down and think about it, this is really the first great racing game that has an open world aspect. You know, you had the test drive games, and then also this year you had a few other ones. You had the Club, and you had what was the other one? The Club and Drive Club, or the Crew and Drive Club. Neither of those turned out good. Both complete trash. Well, Forza Horizon 2 is just amazing. I was not huge on the first Forza Horizon, but this one they improved it tons. They made it so you can upgrade and tune your cars just like in the Forza games. It's like a wonderful mix of some arcadey racing mixed in there with the Forza aspects that are a little bit more realistic. And it is fantastic. The game world's beautiful. It's well crafted. It's fun to do the missions. The game handles well. It looks absolutely gorgeous. There's some moments where I say to myself, is this actually a console game? I mean, it looks as good as some PC games. In my opinion, extremely good job by Microsoft and Turn 10 with this game. Absolutely amazing. Wonderful racing game. That's Forza Horizon 2 on the Xbox One in the number 4 spot. Number 5, I have Banished, which is a great indie strategy game similar to Anno and, say, SimCity, but it's a lot more intense. It's a lot more about survival elements, kind of like Game of Thrones or like Don't Starve or DayZ, those type of games where you have to go out and, do your thing. In this one, in Banished, you have this little group that's kind of exiled, and so you have to build it up from the ground up, and it takes a while. Your first few games will probably fail miserably, but it is a wonderful game. It has great atmosphere, good gameplay, and it was made by one bloody person. Can you believe that? Absolutely wonderful game, and that Banished game is tied with another game a little bit later down the list for my favorite indie games of the year. That's Banished. Check it out on PC on Steam. Next one is another Kickstarter game called Tesla Effect, a Tex Murphy adventure. If you ever played the Tex Murphy games back in the day, it was one of those FMV games. It was like with the motion capturing and the live video, that kind of stuff. Most of those games turned out terrible in that genre. Not good gameplay, just about those graphics, but these games always had great kind of noir aspect, atmosphere, fun gameplay, great characters, good story, and it was extremely silly. They did humor very well. And Tesla Effect came to Kickstarter. They ended up doing it. This game would never be funded without Kickstarter, so it was wonderful to see. And it's pretty much a great example of how developers should go about making a new game. Take it to Kickstarter, do it justice. Do the old games justice with it, and you'll be good. This is an absolutely wonderful game. I recommend you check it out if you're looking for a detective or noir type experience. It's a great game. Tesla Effect, Tex Murphy Adventure. You can pick that up on PC as well. Next up on the list, number 7, is NBA 2K15. Now, a lot of people probably say, "Oh, what the hell do you have a sports game on here for?" and yada yada. But I will say this: this game is the best basketball game of all time. I'm not going to beat around the bushes. This is an absolutely amazing and wonderfully crafted basketball game, a sports game in general. I mean, FIFA was good this year, but this 2K15 just destroys it. Now, there was some issues. I played the PC version. The servers for all systems had some issues the first few days. You couldn't log on, yada yada. It kind of sucked. But they figured that out, and it's a wonderful game. From the gameplay improvements to the graphics improvements. This is the first next generation game on PC too. They did a wonderful job on that. It runs well for me, and the improvements to my team and my career are great. Took a great game in 2K14 and they made it better. They made the graphics better, animation better, but the big thing here is the gameplay for me. It feels more like basketball. It's not super fast-paced, dunking everywhere. You know, you have to run plays, you have to play solid defense. You have to be smart about playing this game, or else you'll just get destroyed. So, wonderful game. If you like basketball, check it out. Just be advised that it's not an NBA Jam or NBA Live style game. It is a simulation basketball game. And so just keep that in mind before you get it. NBA 2K15, you pick it up on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC for the next gen versions. Next up, Halo Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One. All 4 Halo campaigns, 60 frames per second, the online. Now there was online issues with the servers the first few days the game is out, but it's running wonderful now for me. And it was really only the first few days. I didn't have any huge issues after the first few days. I know there was some people that did, but not everybody. So it did have some issues. I thought the 2K15 issues were a little worse, and the Call of Duty issues were worse this year, along with, of course, Unity, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, they remastered Halo 2. They made it look just absolutely amazing. You can press the back button and it shows you what the game looked like before. It's got all these classic maps, classic campaigns, and another thing that they're doing is also they're putting out more content just because they had a few server issues, and they're going to be adding a whole campaign for the Halo ODST, which was my personal favorite Halo campaign. I thought it was extremely underrated. It was dark, it was eerie, had great atmosphere, all that good stuff. So I have to give Halo Master Chief Collection the number 8 spot on there, even with its server issues for the first week or so. And 343 Studios actually did a good job of giving us some rewards. They made this co-op mode, Spartan mode they put in, and they're also giving us, like I said before, ODST campaign in the future. So it's a wonderful game, well crafted on the Xbox One. If you like Halo, if you haven't even played Halo, it's a great time to jump in. Halo Master Chief Collection, in at number 8. Next one is a game I'm playing right now. This War of Mine. It's a great indie game, up there with Banished for my favorite of the year for indie titles. It's kind of a survival game, but not the way that you expect it. This is during a war-torn era. Similar to Papers, Please. The gameplay is a lot different than Papers, Please, but it's similar in the way that, there's a war going on right now, and you have to deal with some of the stuff that's caused by that. Absolutely wonderful game. Huge on gameplay. The gameplay's great. Ooh, jeez, they almost saw me. I hope this guy doesn't stab me. I hope he didn't see me. Oh, shit, he did see me. Damn, run, boy, run. Oh, no, he's gonna die, Pavel. Oh, no. There's a great example right as I'm talking about that game. My first character died in this one, so I didn't think that guy saw me up above, and he just destroyed me. So anyways, great atmosphere. It's really eerie. Great gameplay, super fun to play. It looks nice. It's got great art design, almost like it's painted on there. This game came out of nowhere for me. I didn't know much about this game. I had made my list for my favorite games of the year before this came out, and I just started playing this the last few weeks, and I just absolutely love this. I had to sneak this on the list and push a few other ones just to the side there. So during the day, you have to scavenge in your first house, but you also have to craft things. As you can see here, I crafted beds, I crafted a heater, a bunch of other goodies, a bunch of things to make weapons and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't have a weapon for that guy. Thought I had a lockpick, but oh well. So yeah, you can craft a bunch of good stuff. It's really fun. Then at the nighttime, you have to go scavenge, and there can be bad guys, good guys. It's just a wonderful little game. That is The War of Mine. The next game, South Park RPG by Obsidian. Absolutely wonderful game. It's funny, just like South Park is. The graphics are good. It just feels like South Park. They made a good RPG out of a South Park game, which a lot of people didn't think was going to be possible. Obsidian pulled it out, along with the help of the writers, Trey and Matt. They made absolutely one of the best, big name games, that's either from a TV show or a movie. They absolutely killed it with South Park, The Stick of Truth. If you're a South Park fan, pick it up. Even if you're not, it's enjoyable, it's funny. South Park, The Stick of Truth, go grab that right now. That's in at number 10. Now are some other notables before we finish here. Under the notables, I like the new Aliens game. That was extremely well done, good atmosphere, all that. Reaper of Souls, which was the Diablo 3 expansion pack. Absolutely extremely well done. I love that. Added a lot more replay value to that game. GTA 5, the next generation version, also coming to PC in January. I've been having a blast with that, with the first person view and all that. The Talos Principle, I have not played a whole ton of that yet, just a little bit. But what I played was exceptional, and I'm a big fan of the Serious Sam developers, so it's good to see them getting some love at the moment. Next one, Sunset Overdrive, another good game for the Xbox One, which is an exclusive by Insomniac Games, which made Ratchet and Clank and all those good games. Next up is Geometry Wars 3. If you play Geometry Wars 2 on PC or the Xbox 360, you'll know what I'm talking about. Absolutely a blast to play. Good gameplay, not much for graphics, but super fun, addicting gameplay. Next up, Far Cry 4. Not much needs to be said about that. It's another good entry from Ubisoft in a Far Cry game. Pretty much like Far Cry 3, but a bunch of cool additions that they made to make the game a little bit better, I think. The story and characters aren't quite as good as the first one, but I love the new area. It's extremely well crafted, and it's got fun co-op as well. Can't go wrong with that. Banner Saga. It's a PC game, strategy game, another Kickstarter game, if I'm not mistaken, that did very well. You have kind of strategic kind of combat that's kind of you take turns as turn-based, but it's done extremely well. Also, the story, some of the dialogue is good. It's got good atmosphere as well. Definitely check that out. The Wolf Among Us, which is my personal favorite of the Telltale games. I think they've done just an absolutely amazing job of that game and all the games that they've been doing. But this one especially, I wasn't sure how it would be. I was a big fan of the Fables comics, graphic novels. I wasn't sure how they'd be able to do this. They did a good job with other games, but I wasn't sure how they were going to pull this off. They did a wonderful job. Next up, Mario Kart on the Wii U. If you have a Wii U, get that. Endless Light, strategy game on PC. Insurgency, first-person shooter for Mortar, for PC, I mean. Next one is The Mortar. The Mortar game that everybody's been enjoying, the Lord of the Rings style game, by some of my favorite developers came in to make that one. It's good. I did get a bit bored of Mortar after a while. It just seemed a bit repetitive, but it is quite fun when you get those rivalries going. The graphics are nice, gameplay is good, it runs well. It's a good one, just wasn't good enough to be in my top 10 this year. Transistor, fantastic. The new Wolfenstein was absolutely a ton of fun. And Risen 3 I had fun with, even though it wasn't, 10 out of 10 game. I still had a good amount of fun with that, exploring and doing all that kind of good stuff. That's the end of that one. Now we're going to go to the worst games of the year. Hands down, Unity. Runs like crap, plays like crap. It looks extremely good. The game world was extremely well done. I feel bad for the artists and people who constructed that game world, because the programmers just completely let them down. I mean, I don't even know where to begin to start there. They just totally messed that game up. Especially, it's weird after the Black Flag came out, which was one of the best in the Assassin's Creed series. But I guess that happens. Next up, NBA Live 2015. not much to say there, just completely terrible, especially with how 2K15 turned out. EA, go back to the drawing board and get that shit worked out. Murdered Soul Suspect. I just could not stand this game. I mean, there's some good ideas. It was a complete letdown. I mean, I wasn't expecting the game of the year or anything, but I was expecting an enjoyable, maybe 7 or 8 out of 10. This game was complete trash. 4 or 5 out of 10 at the absolute most. It looked nice, it had some cool ideas, but in the end, it just did not connect at all. Yeah, I don't know. I just could not stand that game. And Contagion. I hated this game. Usually I like these zombie survival games. I had a few friends that said this one was enjoyable. I just didn't see it. I just could not play this game at all. It was boring, extremely linear, and one of the worst zombie-style games that I've ever played. Stay far away from that Contagion game on PC. Absolute trash. And lastly here, before we go, it's going to be Kozzy's games that he's looking forward to the most in 2015. The Witcher 3, Pillars of Eternity, and Evolve. I hope you guys like my list here. This is just my personal opinion. Played a lot of games this year, whether I bought them or got sent them to review. And yeah, so that's my pick. Those are my picks there. If you have anything that you liked this year that I did not list, anything you hated, anything you're looking forward to in 2015, send me a little message there on YouTube or add me on Steam and we can chat or play some games. You guys take care now, and here's to a good 2015. Bye-bye now.